What's up, YouTube gamers? Young Soul dropping another video, and this is just going to be my impressions of the Division. Now, keep in mind, I'm more of an RPG guy and less of a shooter guy, so you got to keep that in mind. Let me just hit some of the good things that I like. I like the weapon customization, as far as you got your normal sniper rifles, assault rifles, light machine guns, submachine guns. I believe there's an RPG or a bigger gun, although I didn't see anyone using it. I think I remember hearing somebody talk about it. I like the concept behind the single player / co-op area, and then like the dark zone, which is like a PvP. It's like a co-op PvP, I guess, where squads of anywhere from 1 to 4 people can go in there. So I like that in general, but here's some of the things that I don't like. In most open world RPGs, I like the idea that there's enemies, obviously, in your main missions. There's enemies in your side missions, but there are not enough enemies when you're just roaming around. I think there should be more enemies, and I think almost everybody I've talked to about this pretty much says the same thing. There's the enemy count just when you're roaming. I should feel like every time I turn down a street, I should be, concerned about, enemies. Like I really have to be nervous when I turn down every single street. Plus, there's times where you can go up on a roof. Some roofs, some other roofs you can't. But there's like no enemies that like have sniper rifles aimed down at the street. I would think stuff like that were gonna happen. So I'm sitting there like checking rooftops. There's no enemy. When the enemies are on the roof, they're never engaging you unless you climb up onto the roof. So they're not like aiming down, which to me doesn't make a lot of sense. You know what I'm saying? If you're really on the streets of a big city like New York or wherever, and you got enemies down on the street, you'd have a couple enemy lookouts up high, which would make it a little more difficult. Now they could add that in, I don't know, but that's just my little thing there. My biggest gripe about this game is the dark zone, quote unquote, player versus player. It's a camper's delight. You know what I mean? You know how everybody says they can't stand campers and whatnot? That's all this is, because the problem is, so just real quick, what you do is you normally go in there into the dark zone with 1 to 4 people on your squad, and you go in and you kill NPCs. So which there aren't enough in the dark zone either. Bots, computer generated enemies, okay? And so they drop loot. So usually they drop loot that's better than in the single player mode. So you kill them, you grab their loot, and what happens is you get all I could call is like a yellow fanny pack. You know how your parents or your grandparents had that stupid fanny pack, but turn it backwards so it's sitting on right above, sitting on your lower back right above your ass, and it's a yellow. It's like an NFL quarterback hand warmer. I don't know. That's all I can, but it's yellow, so it's on your back. Okay? So what happens is you have to go to pre-designated extraction zones, because apparently this equipment, whether it's sometimes guns, sometimes other like armor or things like that, but they're quote unquote contaminated, which means you have to extract them. You have to go to pre-designated areas. The problem is that they're pre-designated, which means all enemies have to do, all other human PvP players just have to do is sit around those camps, wait for you to call for an extraction, and what you do is you normally shoot up a flare gun, and a helicopter has to come. It takes about anywhere from, I think it's always a minute and a half, but maybe it's a minute and something else. I don't know. I never really pay attention when it starts. So it's about a minute and a half or something, and you got to sit there waiting. Now you can run around and try to stay away for a while, but when the helicopter comes, you have to come back to that spot to extract. So they know you got to come to this spot. So they just sit there, wait till the helicopter shows up. You're about to go put your stuff on there. They shoot and kill you, pick up all your loot, and then they extract it. And I just got a couple ideas. One idea that's super easy to do, and one idea I think is more complicated but would be more fun. And the two solutions I have is, number one, easy one, make the extraction zone wherever you're at. Wherever you pick up enemy loot, you can just call an extraction, which would make enemies who want to take you out, other human players who want to take you out and steal your loot, they have to come to you, so they can't just camp. Okay, that to me is the easiest one. The harder one, which I think would actually be more fun, the harder one would be to allow people to put dummy fanny packs, dummy loot, which is not real loot, but it's fake loot. And what happens is, if somebody kills you, then you actually take their loot away from them, their dark zone loot away from them. And if they don't have any dark zone loot, you take away, like, I don't know, 25 or 50% of their dark zone money, which is a whole nother thing. You see what I'm saying? And you get some of their experience. And my point is this: by putting dummy loot on, it makes people have to really decide whether or not they want to try to take you out. Because if you got real loot, they get to steal it from you. But if you got dummy loot, that means that that if you're the one killing that person with dummy loot, you're the one who's screwed. So you get penalized, whether it's you lose dark zone experience points, you lose dark zone money, or you lose some of those dark zone weapons and armor you pick up. That's what I think would balance it out, because it needs to be balanced out, because these people are just going to sit there and camp all day, and I think if it stays the way it is, it's going to be horrible. But other than that, have more NPCs in both the single player and the dark zone, and make it so these people can't camp at these extraction zones all day and night. That's really all I think. I think other than that, I think it would be a really good game here. As you can see, if you've been watching the video, you can tell I can't shoot worth for darn, so you got to understand that. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section if you tried the beta. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Let me know some of the good and the bad. And I'll holler back. Peace.